All right. I am super excited to talk to you guys today. I just wanted to do really kind of a quick training, really as we lead up to convention, but also as we are halfway through the year. I feel like this is kind of the time when many of us, or maybe just me, go, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should already be here by June. I should already have gotten this much done of the year. I should have already have grown my team by this much. I should already have lost this much weight. Whatever it is, it's the shoulda. I shoulda, and I'm just saying this cannot probably not the first time you've ever heard it, but just stop shoulding all over yourself. Honestly. And um I think I heard this today, and I am very guilty of this. And I don't know if anybody else is. I am guilty of looking at one person who is amazing at this business, who wins all the awards, who, you know, wins every prize, goes on every trip. I look at them and I'm like, I need to be just like them for my business. And then I look at somebody who's like an amazing parent who's homeschooling four kids, and I can barely homeschool one kid. And, somebody, this mom, and their version of homeschool is like not only teaching the things, but they're going on field trips and they're picking flowers and I'm like, I'm barely like sitting at the table getting math done. So I look at that and I'm like, that's the kind of homeschool mom I should be. And then there's the women at church who always seem to be able to serve everybody, who step up, who just you can just feel their spirit and how amazing they are and spiritual they are, and they know the scriptures inside and out. And you're like, and I need to be spiritual like that person. And that can, the person who has lost weight even though they're in the middle of menopause and they have all this muscle, and so I should work out like that. And I have a habit. It could be because I'm type A. It could be because I'm a red personality. It could be because I'm an Enneagram 1. Could call it what you will. I want to be like the best of everything. And it's actually really impossible. And we create, many of us create these, false narratives of we should be like all these people, but there's a solid chance that the person who's really great at this isn't great at these things, or the person that's really great at this isn't great at these things. And yet we're saying we should be great at all the things. And that can create a lot of guilt of like, I'm not as good as, right? It doesn't feel good to not be as good as something we're comparing ourselves to. And I've never been a jealous person. I wouldn't even say that I'm somebody that compares, but I would say that I'm somebody for who's always looking for somebody who's great at something, and then I try to be like that. But the problem may lie in trying to be like that, and then that, and this, and this, and then it doesn't work out well, and we feel like we're just kind of running wild. And so, what I want to offer is the idea. Again, I heard this today and I hadn't thought about it before, but I talk a lot about the 90-day cycle and things you're doing right now, you might not see the fruits of for 90 days. A different version of it that I heard today that I really liked was um, the 12-week year. And what they talked about is setting your intentions for 12 weeks, which is great because I haven't reached hardly any of the intentions I set back in January. So I had already decided, hey, I'm going to set new goals, new intentions, and everything in June. And then I was like, I really like this 12-week idea because really we can do anything for 12 weeks. So let's say and the other thing is focusing on the output and why you're doing things, why you want to do certain things for 12 weeks, as opposed to um, what, or focus on the activity that you commit to doing for 12 weeks and not the outcome. So, what are you putting into it? What are you pouring into it? And do it, commit to doing it for 12 weeks, regardless of what the outcome is going to be. So, if I want to be more fit, maybe I commit to no sugar for 12 weeks. It's not forever. It's not whatever. There's a solid chance I will lose weight if I don't eat any processed sugar for 12 weeks, but that's not my goal. My goal is just to get rid of the inflammation. I have arthritis all over. Would it get better if I give up sugar? Probably, because sugar feeds inflammation, which is what arthritis is, right? So if, I could commit to reaching out to 20 people a week, whether it's about my business. It might be 20 people on Monday, it might be 4 people a day over 5 days, but could I commit to that for 12 weeks? The likelihood of my business growing is pretty strong, but I'm not focused on that outcome. I'm just focused on keeping the promise to myself that, hey, for 12 weeks, I'm going to reach out to 20 people a week. And we can do that in, hey, I want to grow spiritually. So maybe I commit to reading for 15 minutes my Bible a day. See where I'm going, and kind of committing to small things like a 1 year goal. Somebody might write down lose 20 pounds. Well, that can be overwhelming. And in December, it's real easy to go, well, I would have if, but this happened and this happened and this happened. But again, if we take the concept of the 12-week year and we create intentions for just that 12 weeks, what also is going to happen is great habits are going to be created, right? Like it really, things become very natural when you do them for 90 days. That forms a habit. And what's really great is in 12 weeks, you set a whole new set of things. And it's, even though you're like, hey, I could not do any of these things anymore, your body is probably going to do it because it's become a habit. And you've decided, hey, I'm going to keep these promises to myself, celebrate my wins every week for 12 weeks. And I was like, because, hey, you know, there was a time when I carried guilt for not working my business at all for the past 3 months, but life happened. And I knew 3 months ago, talked to my husband about it, and we knew in order for me to get everything that needed to get done very well to my level of standards, we knew 12 weeks ago that I probably was not going to be working my business much at all for 12 weeks, right? Same as before that. As soon as we knew we were going to move, my head knew, okay, hey, the next 8 to 12 weeks are going to be a little crazy because I'm moving. So I'm able to lower expectations of myself. And when you take 12 weeks like that, instead of being like, wah, I shoulda over the last 6 months, I'm like, no, because life happened. And sometimes during your 12-week segment, life's going to happen and it'll throw you a curveball. But many times we can go 12 weeks without a curveball, sticking to our goals, sticking to our intentions of what we have told ourselves we're going to get done every day, and then reevaluate after your 12 weeks is up, right? Because um, you might know, hey, I tend to not get a ton of things done for my business in November and December because I'm just all in with my family. Well, then your 12-week focus might be family. Like instead of, like I said, being perfect at this, like for 12 weeks, maybe pick one or two things that you really want to dig into. It doesn't mean you're going to stop doing everything else. But like for me personally, I know the next 12 weeks, I really, really, really want to dig into my business, recruiting as many people as I can, helping them start a business, helping people get help there, partially because I've missed it, partially because I want to grow my income again, for multiple reasons. But I'm going to say, hey, for 12 weeks, I am all in on my business. That might mean I travel less. It might mean I watch less TV shows. I don't know. Like I'm going to write it out and I'm going to figure it out. Um, but then I also know, you know, I do a ton of family stuff in December. So will I have the same set of goals and intentions the last 12 weeks? I don't know. Part of it just becomes natural, like I said. So I loved the idea of, um, you know, we're human, we're not robots. Are there enough hours in the day for us to get everything done? Probably. I say a lot, billionaires have the same amount of hours a day that I have. Also, their human life might look way different than mine. You know, they might have a nanny, they might have a housekeeper, they might have somebody that cooks their meals, they probably have a secretary managing their schedule and answering emails and only shooting off to them, you know. So, is there enough hours? Yes, but also I do want to enjoy life. I do want to spend a day taking my son to the museum. Tomorrow we're going to the air show in Columbus. So we'll leave here at 8:30 a.m. and we won't get home till 6 or 7 p.m. Right? So that is important to me and that's life. So if I'm like, hey, I need to work 5 hours a day, that might work for some people at their stage in life, probably not me, you know? And so being realistic, hey, what does the next 12 weeks look like? To me, it's going to look like, hey, I need to join some networking groups. Hey, I need to get more active in some Facebook groups that I'm in. Hey, I need to reach out to probably at least 5 people a day about Plexus, or current customers that have stopped ordering or whatnot, but make intentionally talk to 5 people a day about Plexus. Um, those are things I know that work. Those are things that I know I can do. Those are things I know coming out of convention, I'm going to be inspired to do. So there really is no better timing for digging in because let's be honest, in February, are you still inspired about what you heard at convention in June? You're not. You're not. But we know from experience that Plexus puts on the best events ever. So we know we could ride that wave at least through July. We truly can. So now you're only asking yourself for a few more weeks to keep up, and to do your things. So that's really what I wanted to share. Like, don't carry guilt about what you should have done because you're likely comparing yourself to people who don't have the same life as you. Don't be upset or feel guilty that you did not reach the goals you planned to reach or you're not halfway to them or whatever. Things change. So, what I would love all of us to do is, if not this week, next week during convention, I love one of my favorite things to do, especially when convention is in Vegas, is to take my journal or my notebook that I'm using during convention and sit by the pool after sessions of the day and kind of have a brain dump and make things. What I will do is say, this is, I'll write all these things. And then on the left hand side, I'll say, this is for me to do. This is for me to do. This is for me to teach my team to do. This is, you know, there's no better time to brain dump than when we're being filled with so much goodness. So whether that's in your hotel room at night or you're sitting by the pool or whatever that looks like, I would encourage everyone to, by the end of next week, next weekend, by the next Monday at least, after convention, to have a whole set of 12-week intentions and goals that they want to work on. Again, it can be spiritually, it can be health wise, it can be personal relationships, it could be your business, it can be whatever. And it might be a little of each, but it might be more heavy, right? Like I'm not letting go of all the things that are important to me, but I know that I need to be heavy on business. That's what I'm choosing to do. And um, everybody is different. Some people can't work as much during the summer or feel like they can't because all their kids are home. But there are many of us that aren't at that stage anymore. You know, we don't have littles that need us to make them 3 meals a day. We got some of us have no kids at home, and some of us have kids that are going to go downstairs and get their own goldfish and carry them up to their room, right? So, you know, summer does not need to be a slump. Summer could be a great opportunity to build your business because people need hydration, they need more energy, they're doing more things, you know, they want to feel better. So you can either choose to take the summer off because that's what feels good to you, or you could use the summer to ramp up because you're able to have people's attention more. So that is really my thought. And I think that if you can focus on goals 12 weeks at a time, that really will eliminate the shoulda, coulda, woulda. I
Right.
just believe we can do anything for 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I wanted to share today. Any thoughts?
It's great. Thank you. I've, you know, I've been trying to get myself, I've been doing the comparison game and, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not here, I'm not there. What is wrong with me? But just finding who I am and not worrying about how good, bad, ugly, or indifferent it is. And,
Yeah.
I like the 12 weeks. I hadn't thought about that. But just do your own life.
Yes.
And what does it matter what somebody else is thinking? Because if they don't know the real you and you haven't stuck whatever out there, they don't know you anyway. And they
Right.
might not even care. So
Correct.
I appreciate that. I thank you.
You're welcome. So I hope this was valuable
It
and
was. I appreciate it.
good. I'm going to stop the recording and then I will chat with you. Hold on one second.